All right. Good evening, guys. This is another session for Blades and Beers. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Today, I'm with Ray talking more about Filipino blades. All right. Cheers, man. All right. Yeah. Thanks for accepting my invite. So, I would like probably to start with how I usually start things, because I believe everyone has their own story to tell. Everyone has, a starting point in this journey with the blades. So I'd like to know like your origin story of how you started um, in this rabbit hole.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, for me, I started as a regular FNAer. So, I learned the Campo Original sometime in 2017. And then, during that time, I wanted to practice with something other than sticks. I mean, I like sparring, I like training with sticks, but I felt that there was something more to the art that I could do. So I started by buying reproduction blades. So I actually forgot the name of the outfit that I brought the blades from, but it was a simple ginunting. And then I saw guys at the Filipino Blade Enthusiast for cutting with water bottles, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Gusto ko rin gawin yan. Gusto ko rin makita kung aakma ba tong eskrima na alam ko sa pagkat. So I tried it, and wow, ang hirap. Ang hirap. I mean, it's no easy thing. Parang mas madali nga manghampas ng tao actually kaysa tumubak ng bote. So then and there I realized na it was actually uh, parang specialization na siya, yung learning how to cut. So I went on self-study for a long time. I just cut here and there with reproduction blades. And then gradually I tried traditional blades. My first traditional blade was a pinahig. So I had a work assignment in Baguio, and I bought this pinahig from my institute. And then eventually I also got a Minasbad from Jason from the Minasbad shop. And then yun, after ng parami na ng parami, I also tried buying model weapons from Mindanao Blade and Textile. And then experimented, met friends, met people much more knowledgeable than I am. So I followed this page, Filipino Traditional Blades. So that was actually a major shift in my view of traditional blades, because I got to know the members, the admins of FTB, especially Sir Dennis Andrew Goles, Mr. Randy Salazar. So they were actually the ones who primed me that this is how you find traditional blades. This is how traditional blades are made. So there's a specialization per region. There are nuances per region. There are cultural practices per region that make each blade unique. So I bought modern traditional blades. I experimented with them, and then sometimes I traded, sometimes I sold off so that I could buy new traditional blades that I felt might fit with my eskrima. Until one day, I met this fine gentleman online, si Mr. Style Ala. And then he was the one who taught me. He was the one who made me realize that you just can't fit any art into any traditional blade. So the rationale behind that is pretty simple, actually. For example, I use a blade made in Panay, and then I try to apply my art, which is the Campo Original from Cebu. So yung pitik, we call that pitik sa FMA, di ba? You have that first snap. It's not really the same. It's not really primed para dun sa pitik nung talibong na mabibili mo sa Panay. Likewise, kung bibili ako ng Luzon blade, like what I did at first, yung mga pinahig, yung mga minaspad, ang sakit. Talagang merong lagitik dito. Talagang may injure ka if you try applying. So, the rationale behind that is in order to use traditional blade effectively. I mean, if you want to wield it, if you want to cut with it optimally, you have to also be ingrained in the art of that specific region or specific province. So it made perfect sense. And Mr. Stalal is a genius in figuring that out. And then I got to meet even more friends, more resource persons, knowledgeable in blades, Mr. Lawrence Lasco, Mr. Zelo Mali, whom I owe a lot of my knowledge in restoration, well, actually almost all my knowledge in restoration. Mr. Braulio Agudelo, who taught me the finer points of the Mindanao weapons, the Mindanao-based weapons, and Mindanao culture and history. The Jundis brothers, who have always been at my side, both in FMA and with blades, and of course, Job, Rainier Dave, and all the other guys in the blade circle, in the blade groups that I belong in. And then everything was well. I was cutting with traditional blades left and right. I was trying antiques. I was now shifting to antiques when I suddenly got this lucky break at the start of the pandemic. So Doc Michael Cabato referred me to a family who was looking for the storer for their weapons because their dad had an extensive collection. Like I think the current count is 400 something na as of now. So all of these blades need to be cataloged, cleaned, and then eventually passed on to blade enthusiasts who were willing to take them in and treasure them as a sort of cultural heirloom. So it was a very lucky break because it was my first time dealing with so many antique weapons. And then that was the point in which Mr. Zel Umali taught me a lot how to remove the hilt, how to clean up the blade, how to reattach or to reset, and other finer points of restoration, what materials to use, what chemicals to use, etc. So as of now, it's been more than a year in this gig, and I've sold off so many weapons. I'm really grateful to that family, the Lim family, for allowing me for trusting me and allowing me to be the steward of these weapons, and also as the avenue for these weapons to find new homes. So currently, that's where I'm at. Almost all the weapons have been sold off. You may have seen me posting all over the Blade forums, right? Post-war Chris, Sangi, Lumad items, you know. So it's actually the tail end na. Patapos na yung selling of the items. There. So that's where I'm at. That's my current Blade story. And right now I'm just researching in history and in culture, trying to pinpoint how these blades were made, who may have wielded them, how they may have been wielded. Yeah, that's it.
That's cool. That's cool. Grabe. It's really deep, no?
Yeah.
I have to say, like the first parang side note that stuck with me was what you mentioned about yung sa application of the different styles to the different blades or per region as well. It's very
Yeah.
very interesting. I'd like to have a further chat on that next time. That's very,
Yeah.
very thank you.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. At this point, maybe you can have like a show and tell of like the current blades that you have, at least the
Yes.
current ones that you
Yes.
have.
Yeah. So I'm also, aside from my eskrima, I'm also studying more of fighting arts. So that's yakan silat. So that's why my primary collection are pira. So marami sila. Like I have 5 pira blades with me right now. So And if you don't mind, I'm gonna do a run through from the oldest to the youngest ones, just to show our audience what a pira is. So this is the oldest among them. Estimated age is turn of century. So it actually has some handwriting here. Pirayakan is written here. So here. So around 21 inches blade length. So you see that's a simple hilt. It's a very cool shape, right? It's very light. It's very light. It's a very light blade. So this is among my favorites. And then after that, this one is pre-World War, probably World War II era to be conservative in age. So here you can see the evolution of a weapon. It's changed, right? It's thinner. It became even lighter. So the handle here is now ergonomic. It's easier to grip, and it's really thin. It's in, wala siyang pat-pat. Pwede siyang pat-pat. And then this one would be around 90s. So this is a small sample. This one I haven't restored for completely. It has a bungi here. See that? Ayun yung bungi. It's a very cute little thing. Pwedeng pang EDC. And then finally, we have the modern ones. So this one is sourced from Mindanao traditional blade and textile. Even this one. So it has a different shape again. It's a kind of beak right here. So it's also has they call this budbud para maging mas madaling hawakan sa kamay. And also another modern type. This one is, I believe, geared more towards combat. So this one naman, I believe, is from Ungkaya, Basilan. So pira nowadays can be sourced from Zamboanga or the various towns in Basilan. But as we know, Basilan, a large part of Basilan is actually no man's land. So it's a challenge to source pira from areas such as Sumisip and even Umpaya. So yan talaga yung I spend most of my time into these period. But of course, the Sulu archipelago is a large place. So I also have to look into other weapons. After the pira, my next love would be the barong. So this one is a World War II era from Zamboanga. It's a relatively normal looking barong. Not flashy, right? I mean, basic lang siya. However, it's pretty, for me, this is one of my deadliest weapons because it's actually double-edged. So you can see here, it is another edge here. Very light, very nimble blade. So that's it for Mindanao. For Visayas, I have here Tenegre, most likely pre-1900. So this is among my oldest blades. So this is the figural. It is a bungi. I'm not sure if my light is clear enough. It's also my heaviest blade. So, laki niya. And then Since Tagaluzo naman tayo. This is pre-1900 Minasbad. So I believe people call this profile sinaluyot. Sinaluyot profile. So you can see it as a horse figure. So most of these blades I restored because most of them when I got them, after a few cuts, they will really become wobbly because the adhesive that was used back then wasn't really meant to last for more than 100 years. But there are certain blades, especially barongs, that are very well made, and then they can really last. Yung adhesive nila, their build really sticks. And a modern blade, I'm sad to say that the maker of this has passed away already. So this is from Mahayhay, Laguna, made by Panday, the late Panday Juancho Lolita. So this is an Uhastari, very nimble blade. So I grew up in Los Baños. Yeah, this blade is special for me. And of course, there are also blades that are somewhat weird, like this one. So at first glance, you would have a tenegre figural here. But makikita mo, iba na yung shape dito pa lang. So pag binunod, it's actually a crease. So this is actually a hybrid blade. So this is what makes researching traditional blades very exciting because you really have to sift through history and culture to find out bakit nagkaroon ng mga ganitong deviants, bakit nagkaroon ng mga ganitong hybrids, what would be their likely stories, what would have been the interactions between the different ethno-linguistic groups associated. I mean, you have an Ilonggo here, and then you have a Moro here. Why did they come together with this design? So yeah, those are my favorite blades for now. So I cut with them as often as I can. I do them with cycles of in this particular week, ito lang, puro Mindanao. The next week, puro Visayas. The next week, puro Luzon. Para hindi hindi ma-jumble up sa memory and sa kinetic chain and stuff. So yeah.
Very, very nice set of blades. Grabe. The dangerous part of doing this these discussions, it makes me want to get a lot of other blades. Grabe.
Yeah, that is a problem. I used to have a limit of 19, but because of research and benchmarking, as my friends would say, yeah, no, dumami sila ng dumami. But I try to keep them. I try to focus on certain blades or certain areas na talaga. Because may limit din ng storage dito sa bahay. And like you, I also have kids. Alam mo naman mga bata, mahilig na magbuting-ting.
All right, cool. See, that's it for this episode. We'll continue on to the next one. All right, thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow.